Welcome back to our channel. I'm Danielle, your resident romancer.
And I'm Lindsay, the fantasy fan, and we are friends
Till the book ends. So today we are doing something super fun. We are calling it our Freaky Friday video.
Yes.
Basically, I took two books that I wanted to read for my March TBR, and I gave them to Lindsay. And Lindsay took two books that she wanted to read for her March TBR and gave it to me. We're both kind of going into it a little skeptical because we have kind of similar but also very different reading tastes.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not much I'm going to build up to it. I'm just going to dive right in with the first book if that's okay. All right, so the first one that I took from Lindsay's TBR, I would like to preface that we did not choose and pick. Like, I didn't say, oh, Lindsay has like all these 10 books, I want to read these two. All I did was basically chose the first two that were available for me to read on ebook. And I was like, cool, that's it. I didn't even read their synopses. I just got the title and the author. So the first one I read was The One by John Marrs. I believe this was turned into a Netflix show, correct?
Yeah, it just came out.
Yes. So I started to read it and it was really interesting. The premise is that there is this kind of dating site that takes your DNA and matches you biologically with your perfect match. And, like, everyone goes crazy over it. Like, millions of people have been matched. People have, like, left their spouses if they matched with someone else. Like, it's intense. It's not a normal dating website. And
people leave their spouses on normal dating websites. They should take it to the next level.
Right. Like, you have a reason to do it now.
Level it up, yeah.
So, it was an interesting take, and I was, like, really excited for it. It takes 5 perspectives. I don't remember all the characters' names. And every single chapter is a new character, so you go through the first 5, and then
cycle through again.
Right.
Okay.
Which I kind of didn't like because something suspenseful would happen for
and
character B, and I have to wait more chapters.
That is sucky.
There's also, they're all different characters. It's not like chapter or character B ends up with character C.
Mm-hmm.
They all have different matches, and they're all different. And I thought the author was starting to build them well. The only thing is that one of them is a serial killer.
I love that premise.
4 of them are normal. 5 of them is a serial killer.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all I know about it. I really don't know, kind of, I guess, what the cliffhanger or like the suspenseful pull-in is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I DNF'd it. I stopped at 25%.
Oh my gosh.
I told you weren't gonna. I prepared you for it a little bit.
Am I offended?
I
don't know.
I did not tell her ahead of time that I DNF'd it, but I did warn her that I was disappointed in the books. I DNF'd it at 25% because I thought the 4 characters were doing fine. It was suspenseful enough, and like already 25% of the way into the book, there were like these twists and turns, and I was like, I didn't see that coming. That's so well written. But the serial killer, first of all, I don't like blood. I don't like gore. I closed my eyes for a lot of Game of Thrones when I was watching the show.
You'd have to.
So I don't typically make myself read books about serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make myself watch TV shows or movies about them. The author started out describing the serial killer fine, but I think the 3rd or 4th sequence we have with the serial killer is that he's describing killing someone, and he's describing literally, like, shoving a knife into their eyeball socket.
Cool.
No!
See, like I'm like, the more you're telling me, I'm like, I should really pick this up soon.
You're psycho!
I love this shit. That's why it was on my TBR. But I get why, if that's not your thing,
right?
You wouldn't
and
like
it's not just like the gore, but there's also the psychosomatic part where it's like telling you the thoughts that's going through his mind.
Yeah.
And like, you're fucking messed up. Like it.
Yeah, actually, the more that I think about it, the more this was a strange choice for you because I've never seen you read a thriller,
right?
Or
and I don't read thriller, which
anything.
is why I hope you guys all know that I'm not lying and saying that I wanted to pick whatever books I wanted to read off. No, I was forced this one, and I did not like it. I don't read thriller. No, I have a degree in psychology, so maybe I'm more sensitive to the inner workings of like a serial killer or psychopath's mind, and it freaks me out. Like I couldn't read it. I was afraid to go to sleep that night because I thought I was gonna have nightmares.
This is like a really great review. You're like, it's so scary. I was terrified. There's gore. You like the other perspectives. You're really making me want to read this.
But I was also disappointed I had to DNF it because I really wanted to find out what happened.
Yeah.
But I just, I wanted to vomit, honestly. Yeah, because just reading the words isn't bad enough. I'd love to see someone do that.
Yeah. Well, I'll read and I'll tell you what happened.
Okay, good. Let me know about the other 4 characters. So that was me. If you enjoy thrillers, I think you're really going to like it because it was so well written. I couldn't bring myself to read.
That's really funny.
I debated skipping the chapters about the serial killer, but then I figured they might get more intertwined between characters, so I didn't want to ruin that.
Yeah.
I wanted to vomit.
Okay, well that was a great way to start it off.
But hey, I'm glad I tried it!
There you go, you tried something new. It didn't work.
I did. No.
So that's okay. Okay, so the first book that I stole from Danielle's TBR is The Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Namey, which is such a long title.
It is. There's a lot of work to have to type it out too.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, trying not to mess it up. But essentially, we're following this girl from Miami. Her name is Leela. And she's kind of living the charmed life until her beloved abuela dies. Her boyfriend breaks up with her. And she also goes through like a friend breakup with her best friend, Steph, who moves like halfway across the world without telling her.
One does.
As one does. It's like friend ghosting. And so Leela is like in this like deep depression and she's sad. So her parents decide that they're going to send her to live with family friends in England. And Leela is like pissed because she loves Miami. She and her sister are going to be taking over her grandma's bakery, and this is kind of like it's her Cuban bakery. This is her like life's work. And Leela and her sister have been working for years to kind of learn all the things that their abuela had to teach to them. And so that was like the one thing keeping her going. So the fact that her parents have shipped her across the world to like rainy England that has no Cuban flavor in it at all. So she's very mad, and so she's angry when she gets there. But she quickly meets a boy named Orion who kind of changes her perspective on things. I really liked this book. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars.
Good.
It was cute. It made me want to go to England desperately. So I really loved the food aspect in here because Leela is like a baker. She bakes all these delicious Cuban goods, but also when she's in England, she's like, well, maybe I could put like a little English-Cuban mashup together.
Right.
And so that's how she like starts to make friends, is she's like bribes them with food, and I was like, I love that.
I do that already.
Right? Yeah, Danielle does. She's a good baker, so.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was really cute. I think that you'd really like this because it has that baking aspect in it.
I'm excited
and
for
the
it.
British aspect,
yes.
Because if you didn't know, Danielle's boyfriend is British,
yes.
so
I honestly,
got 2 things that you love.
I'm always partial to romance teenage books that are like, I met this cute English guy. I went to England, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sounds familiar.
And I really liked how this book didn't just focus on the romance. Like, the romance was a part of it, but it wasn't like I don't even think that it was the main perspective, like the main point of the book not the romance. The romance was really cute, and it was a slow burn. Like, stuff does not happen right off the bat.
Okay,
it's
that's
more
good
like
to know.
friends more. But it's really interesting how she develops all different friendships with his friends, with his sister, with the people in the town. And it was really cute. I really did like it. Like I said, it made me want to go to England, which is depressing because no one is traveling anytime soon. But it was really, really cute. And like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. I'm glad I picked this up. And I'm glad I stole it from your TBR.
Yes,
so.
I'm glad. And I'm also excited for the baking aspect too. Like, I just love
it. Made me hungry.
Food. Yeah.
I know. I was like, where can I get some pastelillos in this town or some empanadas? I was like, who do I gotta call?
Right.
Because I can't make that. Hi, I would like a ghosty empanada with a side of boo.
So good, it was a win though.
It was a win, it was cute, and I really like the cover. It's really cute. She's like pink and it reminds me of spring.
It does.
Yeah, this is not set. Actually, it might be set. It's set in summer, but it's England, so the weather's not like attractive there.
Alright, so I started off with the bad one because I am dying to talk about this next one. It is literally bursting out of me. So the second one that I had to read was Warcross by Mary Lou. This one isn't totally out of my realm of possibility. It's a science fiction novel. It reads a little bit more like a fantasy, I will say. So this one wasn't as out of my comfort zone as the thriller book.
Yeah.
So I was totally enveloped in this. I have 18-year-old Amika Chen. She lives with her roommate at a very small but expensive studio apartment in New York, and she's a bounty hunter.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's cool.
Oh, that's not even the best part.
Ooh.
So she's a bounty hunter. Her dad died when she was young, and she was expelled from high school, so there's really not much that she has to live for. She lives for bounty hunting, and then she also lives for Warcross. Warcross is this virtual reality kind of game. Basically, it's like, picture, I guess, the Oculus Rift, or like those like big bulky goggles, but like small enough to be glasses.
Okay.
Like, they're not kind of an hindrance on you. Like, you can wear it and just go anywhere in the world. The way that it's set up is that you can play Warcross with your glasses, or you can just use it to have a virtual overlay of things. Like, if you want to see a dragon flying in the sky on your way to work, boom, it's there. It's super cool. She lives for these two things. And she's also a little bit of a hacker. So she does some coding involved with Warcross, and this giant annual Warcross game championship is coming up, and they have an opening game to welcome in all the fans. And Amika accidentally hacks herself into the game. Like, she is floating right in front of one of the main fighters, and they're like, what are you doing here? Because they're not supposed to be able to see each other. And so ever since that happens, the CEO and creator of Warcross, Hideo Tanaka, invites Amika to come all the way over to Tokyo because he has a special assignment for her. Someone has been going in and hacking all of his Warcross levels, games, and stuff like that, and his team cannot find them. So he wants her combined hacking, but also bounty hunter background.
That sounds like such a good premise.
Right. And so there's so much more than you think you're going to get with this book. My overall rating, maybe not allowed, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm giving it a 6 out of 5. This was such a damn good book. It is going on one of the best books I've ever read list.
Oh my god.
It is so good.
Now just like transcended there.
Right, this is a duology, so it's Warcross and then Wild Card is the title of the second book, because Amika joins the game during her mission in the position of the wild card, randomly chosen to add to a team. So that's where the second title comes from. It was so unbelievably good. It was so well written. The virtual reality was like so well described. I felt like I could close my eyes. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It was so good. There's like, you wouldn't expect it, but there's even a little bit of romance in there. Okay. So like that even fueled my veins more.
You were like that satiated.
But that also, if there wasn't a romance, I feel like I would still love it so much.
Wow, like, that's like high praise for you.
That's like golden. It was beyond incredible. I tried so hard to nitpick and find something wrong with Warcross. I couldn't. Like, there's not a thing wrong with it, in my opinion. Everything was so well described. I got so sucked in. Oh, God. I can't talk about it enough. Like, I have been dying to make this video because I love it so much. I read Wild Card. I read both of them. I told one of my coworkers who loves reading about it, and she's reading it over the weekend, and we're going to talk about it on Monday, and I'm so excited.
Did you like Wild Card?
Yes, I did like Wild Card. Not as much as Warcross. Wild Card was probably a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
But still,
it was so good. I don't usually read a lot of duologies. Not because I don't like them, but because I guess a lot of the books I read aren't set up like that. I thought the duology was really well done. I thought if the author made any more books, it would have just ruined it. It would have overdone it.
Yeah.
There's also talks that it is possibly going to be a Netflix show. I believe in September it was optioned as a show, but then like there's been silence from it. So I'm like worried what that means. But I really hope it's going to go somewhere.
Yeah. I will watch that show.
I honestly, please, I want you to read this because I want to talk about it.
Well, I did buy it.
Thank God.
You had said that you had liked it. Like we hadn't talked about it. This is the first time I'm hearing your like real thoughts about it. But I was at Barnes & Noble the other day and I did pick it up.
It is so freaking good. Also, I read the ebook, but the cover is like so beautiful. And I can't. It's so good. Like, I have no other words to describe it.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
I can't wait for us to talk about it. Okay, so
gotta read it.
On to your not as great as a 6 out of 5 book.
Nothing can top that review.
Nothing can ever top it.
So the second book that I stole from Danielle's TBR was Starry Eyes by Jenn Bennett. And this one excited me because I read one of Jenn Bennett's other books called Alex Approximately this past summer, and I loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I read it at the beach. It was like perfect. Like the vibes were immaculate. So essentially in this book, we're following this girl named Zori, and she used to be best friends with this boy named Lennon, and they had this like mysterious falling out. Like in the beginning of the book, they're kind of like they're enemies and you don't know why. They're no longer like best friends. And Zori is essentially trying to like be friends with this like popular girl who is like she's a bitch. I hate her. And this popular girl essentially invites her to go camping on a camping trip with them in California somewhere, because they live in California. This is supposed to be a Romeo and Juliet retelling.
Is it really?
Yes, kind of.
I can't remember if I knew that when I put that on my list.
It says it's the modern day Californian version of the Montagues and Capulets. So she gets invited on this camping trip by this popular girl, so she decides to go with her. And when she shows up for the camping trip, the boy Lennon is there too.
Yes.
And they are like immediately off the bat like arguing with each other, and it's very much like bickering. And then something happens, which I'm not going to spoil, but the two end up being alone for this rest of this camping trip. And they have to like hike themselves back to civilization kind of thing. And you find out it's very heavy on the family aspect because it is like a Romeo and Juliet, very light Romeo and Juliet retelling, because Zori's dad owns like and her stepmom own a successful like massage spa thing. And right next to them, Lennon's parents, he has two moms, which I really loved the rep there.
Okay.
They have a sex shop. They moved in.
Oh. And
they set up a sex shop.
That's not where I thought this was going.
And so it's really funny when you hear the descriptions, because they're like, the window display is like a forest of dildos and things like that. And it's really funny. Like, I thought that was a really humorous aspect. But so there's this like feud going on between specifically Zori's dad, who's also a terrible person, and Lennon's moms. And so that's part of the feud and why Lennon and Zori are no longer friends. But it also dives really deep into, you find out in the very beginning of the book that Zori's dad has done something. And Zori is struggling with the secret about whether or not she should tell her stepmom, who's really like her real mom, because her real mom died when she was really young, and her stepmom's kind of has been her mother ever since. And so she's like struggling about whether or not she should tell her, and Lennon finds out this secret. So then there's this like added extra bit of tension. Right. But I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 too, because I really did like the having to be stuck together and work together to survive. They weren't going to die in the wilderness, kind of thing. It was really fun, and I liked the exploration of like what happened, because you find out why the falling out happened between Zori and Lennon, and it makes sense. Like, I thought that it was a really interesting exploration of like family dynamics, friend dynamics, friends to more, and I really do like Jenn Bennett's writing, and I like how she gives all of her characters in each different book like a hobby, like something that they're really into. So in this book, like, Zori's really into astronomy, and Lennon's really into like horror movies and like manga and stuff, and he's also like a goth. He's described as like a little goth boy, and I think it's so funny. Yeah. And like in her other book, Alex Approximately, the one dude's like really into surfing, and the girl's like really into like old movies. So I actually picked up series Moonlight from Jenn Bennett recently too. Good. So now I own 3 of her books. Yay! But yeah, I thought this was a success too. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to read more from this author, because she really hasn't done me wrong yet. Good. Yeah, so. Alright, so
overall, Freaky Friday was mostly a win.
Mostly a success.
It was a
3 for 4,
yeah, which is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
The thriller book just didn't have a chance.
No.
It's never going to be a
get
series
off the ground. Yeah.
But so overall, I think that was fun. We should think about doing that in the future.
Yeah, let us know what books you want us to swap, because our tastes are slightly different. Right. But I'm excited to pick up the 2 books that she read, and
I've already told Lindsay I'm going to be borrowing her books.
So maybe we'll do a review of the books that we should have read. So thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, make sure to leave a comment down below if you liked it, and give us a thumbs up to show that you really liked it. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.